What's up, everyone? So in the last video, if you don't remember, there'll be a link in the description to that. We did the Y pipe and the memory got full on the camera, so we had to do a separate video, and this is basically like a continuance of that. We're going to be installing the Blox intake plenum spacer, which is a thermal spacer as well. This will increase 10 horsepower dyno proven. We're going to definitely test to see if it does increase horsepower by 10. Because we have previous dyno results, we'll put it on and go get a read. So basically I'm going to do a detailed install so you can get the gist of how to do it. So let's get started with that. Alright, well this specific Blox thermal gasket came with instructions from Blox. I will pause it and put it on the screen for a few seconds. If you need to, you can pause the video and you can look at what you need to do. But we already know how to do this, so we're just going to go ahead and get to it. One of the first things you're going to want to do is locate the battery and disconnect the negative or the positive on the battery post. After that, you're going to want to take the sticker and put it somewhere cool so you know it gives you horsepower. Just kidding, by the way. Alright, now that we've got our 10 horsepower sticker installed, we'll focus on taking the cover off. After you remove the bolts, you can just take it off. Next, you'll remove the intake pipe. You'll have to remove the hoses from the intake manifold. Disconnect the connectors going to the throttle body. Once you get done with that, remove all of these bolts all the way around. Alright, now that all the bolts are removed, we'll go and lift it up, having access to the back side of the intake manifold. Now that we have access to the back side of the manifold, there are coolant hoses here that need to be removed. Now that you have access to this part, you can actually use some brake clean and a rag and clean all that up. Alright, for the next step, we're going to be deleting the coolant that goes through the throttle body. Now, if you live in a colder climate, northern areas of, say, the US or Canada, you might not want to delete the coolant thing. We're going to use this Civic radiator as a donor for this piece that will connect the two hoses. Alright, so on the back side here, we have the coolant hose here. We'll stick one end into it. Then we have the coolant hose over here. We'll stick the other end into it. Alright, the purpose of doing that is it will actually cause less heat soak into the intake manifold, resulting in more power and less detonation. In the colder climates, you'll need it to warm your engine up a little bit better so your throttles don't freeze. But on this, where our climate is, we'll be fine. Next, you'll take black gasket maker and put it under the factory gasket a little bit and on top of the factory gasket. Alright, we've got the upper plenums cleaned, ready, the gasket sealed, the factory gasket is gasket sealed. Now we're going to put a little gasket sealer on both ends of this, and then we'll basically lay it on like this. Now that I got this side gasket sealed, I'll lay it on like this. Now that you've done that, you'll go ahead and put a little bit of sealant around here. That's for these little black things to hold them in place. Make sure all your holes are lined up. After you've verified they're all lined up, then you'll get ready to put this on very carefully. You don't want to get this caught in there. It's probably best just to take it off. Alright, now that you got the 3 longer bolts in the back, crack it open a little bit to verify that they're in the right spot. Make sure they're in the little spacers. Alright, now that we verified these 3 longer ones are in the correct spot, then we'll go with the slightly shorter ones, putting them in their spot. Make sure to put the washers on. And you'll want to get these ones hand tight. Now that we've got those just barely tightened, we'll take and put 1 bolt for each hole. Make sure the washers are on them. Alright, now that you verified that it's all at 7 foot-pounds and no higher, then you can take your rubber and reinstall it around your oil cap. Now that we're this far, we can start reassembling everything. Alright, now that you got it back together, everything's looking good, reconnect your battery and give it a fire up. Well, it sounds good, fired right up, doesn't seem to have any issues. Best way to know, we're going to put some coolant in it, verify it's all topped off, and go take it for a spin. Well, as you can see, it definitely increased the power. We won't know until we hit the dyno. It definitely had a lot more low-end torque, definitely. Top end, it was pulling harder than it used to, and that was just in drive without the slapstick. When I have it in slapstick mode, it has a little more power. So that's pretty impressive to me by itself, but we won't know for sure. But I know this sticker gave it 10 horsepower. I guarantee that. Just kidding, not really. But if you found the video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you want to make it into my next video with a shout out, definitely hit the donate button. Anything over $10 gets you a shout out with a link to your channel in the description. So if you've subscribed, definitely hit the bell notification so you get notified of every upload. We'll have more videos coming, so stay tuned.